Very foggy morning today. I've had a call at 8 a.m. Then I went back to sleep a little bit more because I didn't sleep super late, but I just felt like I didn't want to. I really don't like operating sleep deprived. I think my performance falls a lot. At least that's what I've found and felt. Even though actually I can like, yeah, there's a small difference that those like extra couple hours make. When it's interrupted, usually that's not as good quality, so I avoid doing that. So was the nap totally warranted? Maybe not. But I did it anyway. Hopefully that helps because I've got a pretty busy day today. The weather's complete shit, but I kind of like fog. There's something calming about it. I've got the development stuff that I still need to make a breakthrough on, and I'm like really, really dedicated to making a breakthrough on that. And so that's a very big priority. But the problem is obviously there are other projects that need my attention, need my time, and those like the longer I take to get this app development block out of the way, obviously the bigger the impact on the rest of the projects. And as I have more calls with clients throughout the week, more calls with hiring candidates, there's just an accumulation of little tasks and to-dos that sap away. Now, what I have found helps is I will focus my initial hours on that one key task. So I did this yesterday. I basically just worked the entire day on app development. And then after dinner, my brain was completely fried. And I think from about 10 p.m. to 12:30 or so, I just did a number of little smaller tasks, and it worked super well. I got a lot of like important little things that I needed to do out of the way, so it still felt pretty productive, but also it's just a lot easier when you have a task that you dread a lot. So for example, for me in that case, right now that's app development, then the other tasks seem a hell of a lot easier. This is why people sometimes when they have work to do, they'll clean their room or something. There's some really pretty birds. That's cool. When people have a lot of work to do, sometimes they'll, clean their room or do the dishes or do something that's totally unrelated to the task. And it's really a form of procrastination, but it's kind of productive procrastination. I find that I do that a lot. That resonates a lot with me. And essentially what's happening is your brain doesn't want to do the thing on that top of the list, but anything under it seems, relatively speaking, a lot easier. And so it makes my other work a lot more enjoyable when I have to do the app development because I really don't want to do it. And so everything else seems a lot easier. This always happens. The thing at the bottom of the list, or at the top, however you want to look at it, it's always the one that sucks the most. And you will tend to procrastinate, and you have to fight that tendency. At least I do, pretty hard. So, for the time being, that's the plan. These videos have really made me keep in mind these principles that I always keep in mind, to be fair, but I think are particularly important to be reminded of when you're somebody who values high standards and stuff like that. But done is better than perfect. Something that at least is out is there's this one client of mine who's like, he's kind of a friend. He's this personal trainer, and he's making this content, posting Instagram reels and whatever. And I mean, I'm gonna be pretty blunt. The content was pretty bad. It sucks. Truth is, when you start stuff, most of the time, no, not most of the time, like I think 100% of the time, you will suck. Like this is just true. Like if you see I don't know, like I look at my videos and I think, God, that's pretty awful actually, in a lot of ways. And I want to make it better, but the only way to make it better is to get the reps in. And you can't just record by yourself, because You need to see what the reactions are, right? That feedback loop is important to understand what's valued, what's not, etc. This guy was posting this content and he was just doing it pretty carelessly, right? He didn't have a posting schedule. He didn't have anything. And he was getting some leads for his whole personal training business. So that's not my objective here, but I think it was a really nice reminder of just quantity begets quality, right? He just got results by doing the motions, like pretty mechanically. Like, you don't have to do, is he going to become the next Mr. Beast? No, but it was something. I think it really speaks to just like the power of consistency will take you a pretty long way, and you improve over time. So another thing is making me realize, for example, those filler words. I use them a lot. Now I've become a lot more aware, and they trigger a kind of visceral reaction, like and then oh, I don't want to do that. So that's been something really nice. Also, the way, not that I trip up on words, but that I'll move directions, change directions very quickly in my sentences. It's something that I also want to mitigate. It's pretty good for just reflection. I think it's nice to be kind of learning something from scratch again. I definitely feel that I'm learning from scratch as far as this video stuff goes. I asked my editor this question because he said he's enjoyed seeing me grow. And I was like, what growth? It's been a couple months. I feel like I'm pretty much the same as I started. But yeah. Something else I've been thinking about lately, though, has been how can I basically improve client satisfaction, make our company more client-centric. And by this, I think that's the principle of any large company, is they're extremely user-focused. They obsess about the user. The way Amazon does, the way Shopify does for merchants, it's very user-focused. Now, in my case, obviously, those are clients, right? Firstly, I got to double down on one type of client to start with. But I also want to just instill that kind of culture of thinking, how can we make this better for the client? That's pretty much what the largest consultancies in the world do. It all just comes down to that user focus and being as attentive as possible. And so I thought one of the things I'd like to do is spend some time with my team, maybe on a weekly basis. Also something that probably makes sense as I grow the team. So now I'm hiring for a front-end role, and I can do that exercise with more people, but basically on a weekly basis, kind of reflect what is something small that we could have done that would benefit the client. It doesn't have to be development related, but how can we provide instant gratification as repeatedly as possible, and like as small a cycle as possible? That's something which I'd like to spend some time thinking about, and I think I want to introduce the team to those brainstorms because I want to get them in that thinking as well, and I want to build culture around that. So that's one of the kind of bigger picture things I've been thinking about. Maybe something I do like the end of this quarter, start of next quarter. Also, I want to change the shape of my goals a little bit, be a little bit more deliberate about the inputs that I'm going for. So for example, reach outs or conversations, number of pitches, things I can control, and just focus on those on a weekly basis a little bit more. I think that might be a good call. For the time being, I think I made those goals, but then I didn't put actionables on a weekly basis in my weekly to-do stuff. It just gets drowned out in all the noise because there's always loads of stuff to do. But I think with my assistant, it's been really helpful because a lot of the little tasks I don't have to think about as much. I'll probably stop filming because it's too windy. And I'll finish up my thought a little bit later. Anyway, what I was really just thinking about is how can we become more user-focused, client-focused, stuff like that. That's effectively what I think takes you to the next level. The wind's still pretty annoying here, but that's been on my mind a lot, and trying to keep these thoughts afloat when there's a million things on your to-do list is probably one of the bigger challenges. I would say an assistant helps a lot with that stuff. Other than that, also the assistant's just been super helpful so far with simple things. So, for example, I want to schedule a bunch of meetings in London with people who I think would be interesting to meet, and I basically told her, make a list. I'll approve or deny the list of these people. She can help me research a little bit about them. Then I reach out. I make my reach outs personalized, obviously. I'm thinking about like making individualized videos for each one. Then have her just schedule with them. So schedule the meetings, make reservations, find the spots that I want to go to. Because I have a specific criteria about like the kind of places I want to go to. I'm a bit of a foodie, but the fact my assistant can help with that is extremely helpful. Just the mental load off my plate is really nice. Even if so that's been really nice. So I just had my hair cut. I don't know if anyone else has this, but I feel like it takes a couple days to adjust. Like I feel like so much of my hair is missing. It feels really awkward. What Deus quiser. Yeah. Anyway, so I feel like I've lost half my hair, which I mean basically I have, but that's a thing. I spent from basically 2 p.m. till now, which is late. I've been, or like 7:30. I've just been on calls back to back, running around. Then at 5:30, I came and I went to the mall for the said haircut, and then I just got back. The calls were super good. One thing I find is this was something I was doing earlier today, but like I've been reflecting on a weekly basis on what brings me the most energy, what sucks the most energy out of me, what should I say no to, and what that allows me to then say yes to more. Now, I've been doing these reflections, and I like one of the things I want to do is like make them more actionable. But I think they've just been really valuable to help identify like what are the things that make it easiest for me to keep moving, what are the things that create resistance and friction to that, and that then means that like, I can identify the things. Okay, this thing sucks a lot of life out of me, and it saps my energy a lot. So I should probably outsource that. Now, I found what I get really energetic about is working with people. So lots of calls, back-to-back meetings, stuff like that. I absolutely love it. I love having really busy days where I'm just running around all the time, like nonstop. That for me is really enjoyable. On the other hand, I've found feeling like I make no progress on stuff really, really bugs at me. And so that has been helpful to just keep in mind. It helps you understand yourself a little bit better, and over time your tendencies, what your habits are, things like that. And then it also helps you then delegate accordingly. So for example, if I am less organized, then one of the roles that I should hire for first is an organizer, right? So somebody who's better with schedules, with management, with all that stuff. That's just one instance, but I think it's good to reflect on your personal qualities and things like that. Identify your deficiencies as fast as possible and solve for those. Solve via systems, solve via people. You know, if you can hire somebody, great. If that's not within your budget, then make systems and environments that will help you obviously solve that issue, right? So I have a lot of systems around me getting tasks done because my natural tendencies are to be less organized, but I've largely solved that. Yeah, that's been something I've been thinking about. Another thing I want to do is spend some time thinking about, so on a weekly basis, I typically tend to set some goals about, okay, based on this reflection about what gave me energy, what didn't, etc. What are 1 to 3 goals I have for the week? Now, I've reduced that to just 1 goal for the week. And one of the key things I wasn't doing before was reflecting, okay, how am I actually going to make progress toward that goal? Why? Okay. She refuses to walk. He's a very stubborn dog. Alright, I guess up the hill we go. But yeah, I want to be thinking about how can I iterate faster in terms of company stuff, personal stuff, whatever it is. And that part of that means setting goals and hitting them on a weekly basis. And I think right now the reflection part is in place nicely. I just need to make sure the tasks get done as well. So yeah, that's been something I'm quite wary about. So far I've found the system to manage tasks that I came up with works extremely well. Just having this like Notion list of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just keeping a list of tasks that I check off and I can move across the board. Super easy, super simple. Suits my needs super well, honestly. I think that's been a big unlock, frankly. I'm somebody who otherwise struggles with like time blocking, scheduling, or scheduling work doesn't really work for me because I end up just kind of ignoring it sometimes, and then things don't get done. And yeah, it's a bit messy to keep a to-do list on your calendar. So just making a separate thing has been great. So like shaping those things around you as a person, I think is really important. Don't just listen to what productivity gurus tell you or whatever. Think critically about who you are, what your personal tendencies are, and solve for those. This goes back to that thing that I touched on, I think like yesterday or the day before, but social media is incredibly overstimulating. Now, stimulus is good because it opens your mind to new ideas and ways of thinking. And so, you know, the knowledge that you're able to find online is really amazing. And a large part of my trajectory has been a fruit of that. However, it also brings a lot of overstimulus. And it just leaves your mind twirling in ideas and trying to implement everything when really you shouldn't. And you just have to look at every piece of advice critically. And I think this is something most people miss. They just kind of look at they just look at whatever the latest influencer said or did and take that to heart. And I mean, these reflections are just my personal thoughts, but if anybody ever refers to them, I think they should very much be taken with a grain of salt. It's like, this is what's correct and makes sense for me in this context, my step of the journey and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway. Gonna get home, probably go to the gym after dinner, and then continue working on the Bluetooth stuff and see if I can make a breakthrough on that today. That's really my main goal, because tomorrow I want to hit the ground running and solve for the rest of the project's work, the rest of the clients. I don't want to get stuck on this app stuff anymore, which I'm still being stuck on. I did some work this morning, I made pretty good ground. One thing that I've felt was GPT can be good, and I should caveat this by saying this is a comment that I hold for the time being, at the time of recording this, right? So February 13th or whatever it is, not something that, maybe in 6 months' time, this is totally incorrect. But GPT provides a way of looking at things. But if that way does not solve your problems, what I have found is I have grown a tendency to avoid solving it for myself, because GPT generally solves other things very quickly, especially with work which I'm perhaps less interested in, or which has become a bit more of a drag, which has been the case with this app development stuff. And so it's like, if GPT doesn't know how to do it and it provides useless solutions, I found myself reluctant to go out and properly read through things, read through the resources, dig into it, get my hands really dirty. And once I just overcame that mental barrier and I was like, this is hard. I'm going to need to do this. This is what I did when I was 13, 14. I was making my first websites. I had not a clue how to do anything. And yet I still managed to figure out how to make an entire backend with PHP two-factor authentication with email, an in-credit system where you could send credit around to different users. Like, I figured it out. I had zero computer science, like, training, anything. I figured it out online. No AI, nothing. And it was a really good reminder to just like go back to that place and be like, I need to go back into that, like figure it out whatever it takes mode. And I did that, and it was really, really useful. And I think there's going to start to be a separation between the people who are willing to do that and the people who will settle with whatever the AI kind of answer is. I mean, to be fair, before AI, there was also just general wisdom and people who settle for general wisdom versus those who pursue anyway. But I think AI has just made that more accessible, and it's going to leave people a lot lazier. So it's just something to, I think, be wary of, but also means that competition's a lot easier, right? Because if more people get more lazy, then it takes less work to stand out. But it's still a lot of work. Let me tell you that from firsthand experience. It's a lot of hitting your head against the wall and figuring stuff out. This is in development. This is just in any large pursuit that you want to have, I would say. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on AI stuff right now, on this like small subsection of AI usage. Just the way that I've felt from being, figuring things out, and felt it was actually holding me back. And I literally I was like, okay, what would I do if I didn't have this? And then that's when I started making more progress, because I was so reliant on it. Now, it still saves a lot of time, but like, don't get into that trap where you absolutely rely on it. But yeah, so gonna get back to that for the time being. So it's 4:22 in the morning. It wasn't really the plan to stay up this late today. There's just a lot of work that needed to be done on that app. I got home, I tried to go to the gym, realized the gym was closed because it's a public holiday here, so wasted some time. And then I had dinner, and then I literally sat down for a bit. I was on my phone, and then I just fell asleep, which was awful. And I was like, okay, I'm super exhausted. I'm going to try and sleep. Then I went to bed, and I ended up not managing to sleep. I don't know, my head was going a little bit in circles, so I got up and just went back to work. And so I've been working for like the last 4-ish hours, and made some decent progress. Honestly, like, this is probably the nights that people consider to be like I'm hardcore grinding or whatever. It's like, I don't know, I do this because I want to, yeah, to some degree, like, I don't really feel super thrilled about having to sort this stuff out, but I could probably have just come down and done some other work and be pretty happy. Like, I had a good time. I was listening to my music, was just vibing by myself and getting work done. Yeah, this development bug right now, like, you can see the little setup is debugging, and it's a huge pain in my ass, to be honest. Like, this is really driving me crazy. It's making the work a real drag. But other than that, it's fine. Anyway, it's been a long day. I thought I'd do a little update because I feel like it's just one of those, like, probably just not planned, not structured. It is what it is. I wasn't sleeping, so I got up and did work. And like, that's my reality most of the time. It's nothing bad about it, but it is what it is. I thought it'd be nice to just record a little update. I feel like it'll be fun to look back on in a couple of years. Be like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. I remember those long nights. I mean, that's what this stuff is made of, right? Like, the journey and stuff. Yeah, you definitely gotta be able to have a good time while you do this. At least I have found that. Like, especially when I feel that I make a lot of progress, like, those are the best nights ever. Even if I stay super late, like, I'm listening to my music, I'm getting stuff done. If tasks are getting complete, I feel super happy, I feel super energetic. Usually I work pretty well at night as well, so no problem doing that. I mean, eventually I slow down, but yeah. Anyway, it's late. Tomorrow I have a call at 11, call at 12, call at what time? Oh, that's the wrong day. I have so many calls tomorrow. Oh God, I have to reschedule this. Jesus. So tomorrow I have a call at 11, then a call at 12, then a call at 1, a call at 1:30, a call at 2, a call at 3, a call at 3:30, a call at 5, and then I can start on my work, and then I gotta go to the gym too. God, that's gonna be quite the fucking day. Alright. Well, that's the plan for tomorrow. Better get to sleep because you're gonna be busy. It's gonna be a lot. I'll probably drink a Red Bull some way, at some point. Anyway, clearly my brain's already shutting off. So that's it. That's a wrap.